Hi,
Hello,
Andrea.
ciao.
Yeah, ciao. How are you?
Very fine, thank you.
Yeah, I
You?
have to. I'm good as well. I have to say it was such a pleasure. I was remembering our short but very sweet meeting at Piti. So uh, always when I was passing by, there were a lot of people, and you were surrounded by media, by lovely people. But it was really nice to see you in person, first of all, and thank you very much for joining. It's been nothing but a pleasure to experience a brand like Rubini. I can't say it in words. Really huge
Grazie.
appreciation.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure meet you in person at
Yeah,
PT. Maybe with more time the next time to spend.
hopefully. But how was Piti for you, Andrea? How was it? Because you launched Nuvolari, is that how you call it?
Yeah,
You launched the new fragrance. How was it like for you after so long meeting people and presenting such a beautiful fragrance?
grazie. Thank you so much. For me, PT was an important event, a a great a great success for the brand, for our work. We spent 8 years behind Rubini fragrances, okay, since 2014, okay. We started with Cristiano and Hermano to work, and one after one, we composed our first line, and
Hmm.
I presented them in Pitti. For me, was the first time to present the three souls of the brand, because the first fair was in 2015, and I presented just one perfume, fundamental.
Correct.
Um, yeah, the time in 6 years, 6 years for me were rich of satisfaction, but also tears.
Tears. I hope they
Of
were happy
course.
tears.
Yes.
Happy tears and not sad tears, because uh,
No, but it's hard when you want to go in opposite of the market. When you want to just present one fragrance, not 10 fragrances. Okay, and then you must wait. You must you see your mistake. You understand well your project is totally for me formative for this brand, because I started in a way, then I changed myself, okay, during these 6 years, and probably I will change a lot with the brand.
yeah, hopefully. But
Very
go
challenging,
ahead. It's
challenging.
challenging, yeah, challenging. I can imagine, and I think um, also from me, because I try so many fragrances on a daily basis, to come across a brand or a fragrance that somehow raises your eyebrow right away, right? Like it rarely happens that you spray something on a blotter and you are like with the first spray transported to an almost like an extraterrestrial, unreal, almost godlike place, which sounds somehow cheesy, but Tambour Sacre and all the three fragrances, they had this complexity, this depth that I haven't come across in a long time. I mean, a lot of people ask me how Pitti was, and I always told them that in terms of exploration, new fragrances, it wasn't so good. It was better in terms of meeting people, but I still remember the first time you gave me Nuvolari on the blotter, and I was completely blown away. So yeah, how did you manage to create such um, complex fragrances, but also fragrances that somehow tell a story? Because it's easy to create something complex, I would say, but also to make sense out of it, to make it a perfume. I mean, Tambour Sacre definitely to me almost goes in this avant-garde, wild, but it's a fragrance. It's very well rounded, very well done. So How was the process like creating these 3 unique fragrances?
The process was, first of all, believe in your dreams. Here you can see my boutique. I came from a great perfumery store that by my family since 85 years. Okay.
Wow.
Yes, first in Verona, then in Mantova, where you can visit if you want. And I started across great fragrances like Guerlain, Chanel, Boutique, Frédéric Malle, and so I was surrounded by beautiful composition. For me, haute perfumery. Okay. Also, I love to play music. I create music just with my little band. So when I understand that perfume are like music, composition, harmony, I change my vision of this world. And so after the fair, after years that I worked in the store, I saw that the market that didn't present something interesting like I expect. Okay, I must be surprised every day. My character. So in the fair, I met Cristiano. Okay, in the Osmotec stand, probably in 11 years ago in Milan. Okay. 11 years ago, and here after year. During the fair, I was visiting more Osmotec than the other stands. So that Italian guy told me, why you are stay always here and not in the other part of the fair? Because in Osmotec you can find the great perfumes of the past, the most important archetype in perfumery from the beginning of the century to the latest decades. And I decided to be surprised by perfumery. So at the point in my perfumery store, I didn't feel gray sounds like perfume. Now I need to see colors, okay, to see something new. But the market take you to unusual smell. Okay, so after maybe 3 years that I met Cristiano just for 20 minutes, 1 hour in the fair. He told me, why you always speak about that kind of perfumery? You must do your perfumery. We can do something together, okay? And then maybe was 2012, okay? So Cristiano at the time was a trainee in Amsterdam in IFF. Okay. And then after 2 years, he called me saying that he began trainee in Paris. So Andrea, we can start a perfume together now, really, after 5 years that we talk about create something different and unique. So during the road, I met Hermano Picco, Magnificent on Instagram, okay, and I talked with him about my passion, about the ideas of create something about the Rubini my Rubini, surname of my family, about the family. But in the beginning, the vision was just to create something different, something to say wow. Okay, and we take the first idea, and it was translated fundamental. Fundamental speak about my heritage, the foundation of my family in perfumery. Yes, and fundamental is dedicated to my grandfather, Pietro. In this perfume, we wanted to represent Verona, okay, with the hills, with Guard Lake, okay, and the perfume began to open with citrus, with bergamot, with mandarin, okay, and with the particular suave smells, the white grapes that you can find in Verona. We wanted to create the atmosphere around my grandfather, okay? Just not creating something classy or traditional, but imagine the smell to create something innovative, something futuristic, like different people talk about fundamental.
Right.
So,
I mean, to me, it's sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Andrea, to me, it's, let's say, the easiest of the three. Like, this to me smells like Italy. If there was a fragrance called Italy and you had to bottle, it, to me, this is citrus to me, this citrusy orange-like flavor that reminds me completely of Italian sun. To me, this is this bright Italian sun. You are sitting and having limoncello on Lake Garda or something. That's, so for me, it's let's say, it still has complexity.
Yeah.
It still has complexity, but it's also, let's say, the easiest of the easiest brother or sister of the three fragrances. Beautiful for summer and winter. There are some earthy notes in there.
We are more younger, okay, and you are right, because we spent just 1 year for fundamental. Then the Tambur 1 year and a half, and for Nuvolari 2 years. 2 years in formulation with Cristiano and Hermano, okay, and in a fundamental we used a great quality of raw materials, but one day when I asked it to Cristiano, okay, we are working on a great quality, but there's another brand that works better of us. Oh yes, just one, like Mal. Okay, the next perfume that we do must be in the quality of the best. So in Tambour Sacre and Nuvolari, we work with a very expensive quality of formula. In Cristiano works, Tambur and Nuvolari are the most expensive formula that he ever made, of course. After fundamental, working with these high quality naturals, the formula became more complex, more rich, more sophisticated, but maybe just because grow with the brands, and then we try to do always our best.
Yeah, because I was talking to a friend of mine. I think he's here. His name is Mladen, and he just congratulated me on the review I did on Tambur. And usually for me, it's not so difficult to explain a fragrance, because you could always, I'm not a technical guy, so I can always associate it with the memory, associate it with notes. But Tambur was one fragrance I had no idea, right? Like, to me, it was watching an action movie and a horror movie on the edge of the seat. In terms of fragrance, it's so polarizing in a positive way, but also very very contemporary, and I had no idea. I knew that there were spices in there, but it's so challenging to a nose, but you still want to go back and smell it. It's that kind of a fragrance. So it's I think probably this year if I would have to say, it's probably the most artistic fragrance I've smelled this year. Super adventurous, very avant-garde, out of the box, almost out of this world kind of a fragrance. To me, it's also, there is waxy greenness in it, but it's really difficult to understand. I think this is something that you only experience. I don't know what you did here, but it just kind of, it makes a whole story. You know, it's really beautiful.
I totally agree with you, and I love so much your reviews about Tambour Sacre, because you can maybe not the first, but not a lot of people can understand our perfumes. For example, Tambour Sacre is not a perfume coffee. Okay, it's an African adventure. Okay, you usually people just want to understand the raw material, one material to describe the perfume, but we don't work like this. Cristiano spend a lot of time to don't push one raw material than the other. Okay, so you cannot recognize nothing. Okay, this is you just smell the atmosphere, the perfume. Okay,
Yeah.
not one single raw material.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy, right? Like, coffee is something that you smell on a daily basis, but I think I can say it for all the three fragrances. Maybe fundamental, you do get citrus, but in Nuvolari and in Tambur, for example, they're so complex that also when you spray it in the beginning and 10 minutes later, it's something else. You see them develop as no other fragrances are developing. So, I mean, for me, the star of the show is the spices. To me, it's not cardamom, it's not cinnamon, it's somewhere, it's like it's already mixed. You know, sometimes fragrances get complex in the dry down. This is complex right off the bat, you know, and you have no idea. You get whiffs of it. You get spices sometimes, then you get almost earthy, vetiver-like, you know, dry woods. It's really, for me, so artistic, but also very, very difficult. I can imagine I would really have to think about a occasion to wear it. You know, it's super special for me. It's not a fragrance I can pour it and everyday wear. It has a special place in my heart, if it makes sense. You know, it's
yeah. We conceive our perfumery like an experience, like a film. Okay, you are completely into the film and transport in other era, in other period, in other situation or another place. Our perfume must be like this, very unique. For example, if we talk about music, one of my greatest band is Beatles, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, in the top of the vinyl, you can see a very rich image. Okay, a lot of different person, flowers, color. So in every time you can see the photo, you can discover something new. It is the same thing if you listen one of the song of the album. Our perfume must be like this. Okay.
Correct. No, absolutely. I think my first introduction to the brand was Tambur, and at that time I knew, because we did talk a long time before I tried the fragrances, and you were like, Rahul, take your time. Every time we talked, you said, Rahul, take your time, because this is not something that you're gonna come up with or you would understand, and it was completely like that. And I have to say, sometimes, of course, reviewing can get one-sided, but when you come across a brand like Rubini, it restores your faith in niche perfumery. And I think better than that, I can not say it. I cannot say it better than that. So yeah. All right, on this note, let's take some questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Let's see what it is. What was the most? Okay, so we have a Nuvolari question. What was the most challenging aspect of perfecting Nuvolari? Maybe we can talk about Nuvolari because Eric is asking this question. So to me, just right off the bat, it's my favorite of the three. No second thoughts in this. It's for people who love the smell of petrol. It's the fragrance who love benzene, warm asphalt. It's, to me, artistry to the next level. Nuvolari, guys, it's beautiful. Let's talk about Nuvolari a little bit, Andrea. What was the idea?
Nuvolari, Tazio. This is the guy. Nuvolari, Tazio Nuvolari was one of the most important racer. It's Italian racer of the past, winning in Europe, in USA, and during the 30s, the 40s. Okay, he was an iconic person in Italy and in every part of the world. Okay, Nuvolari was born in my same town, Mantova. Okay, and one day, maybe 3 years ago, I opened the newspaper, local newspaper, and see his photo. And in a second, I realized the perfume. So, okay, we got the perfume. I want to bring people in the race with Nuvolari. I want to create the idea to be him, okay, during the race. So after talking with Cristiano, we think to put every ideas of me and of him inside. So when I first of all I wanted to create the smell of the lane in the circuit, okay, of the Grand Prix. Cristiano wants to put the smell of the elements like rain and wind, okay. Hermano wanted to lift more up the composition like a classic very bass and heavy wood leather perfume. So the most challenging side of Nuvolari was the balance between the top notes and the base notes. Okay, we invested 1 year to find the shape of the perfume. 1 year ago, we just find the right idea of Nuvolari, but we spent another year to find the right balancement because we used beautiful raw material like neroli from Morocco, mint from Japan, citrus from Italy, black pepper, okay, and in the base you have wood, you have leather, you have styrax, a lot of styrax, okay, vetiver, 5% of vetiver, very rich. The challenging was to have the right balance between the top notes and the base notes, because 1 year ago the base notes killed the neroli and the citrus. Okay, 2 years.
Wow, unbelievable! Because I have to be honest. When I read that you have Nuvolari coming, and I looked at the note breakdowns just so that you guys know how the note breakdown sounds like. Gasoline, black pepper, Italian bergamot, motor oil, metallic notes, neroli, bergamot, rose, mint, ambroxan, Laothian oud, asphalt. You look at it, you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you smell this, and like you said, it's completely, you can't expect something like this, because when you read this, it's like there is no sweetness in it, but I do get sweetness in it. There is a sweetness behind that removes all the edges on the fragrances. It's really my favorite. It's so addictive that you have to go back. This oily, almost benzene like quality makes it so addictive. I think when Fahrenheit initially came, that charm that Fahrenheit had because of that benzene petrol kind of a smell, this has the same charm, but 1,000 times more complex. So much going on.
Cristiano, for example, decided to use a particular raw material like olive absolute from the south of France. Okay,
Olive.
we use absolute of olive to get the grass part. Okay, the oily smell of the components of the gasoline. We use wood without the classic smell of wood. Okay, we used wood to give the dirty side of the asphalt of the race. Okay,
Yeah.
so like tuberose in a tambour, we use the colors of the material, not the classic idea of the flower or of the wood. Okay, this is the interesting way to compose. We use a lot of other raw materials like in Nuvolari, like magnolia, oil, like rum. Okay, but we want to in the pyramid want to give the ideas of the accord, not just the raw material. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because go ahead. Sorry.
We in Nuvolari, from the beginning, I wanted to have contrast. Every Rubini perfumes are rich of contrast because contrast for me is life. Okay, and in Nuvolari, you have the metallic side from aldehdic to neroli to mint. That is in the opposite of something rich like warm ambery and woody. Okay, the metallic side helps with the rain notes. Okay, and that gives more modernity to the composition.
Yeah.
Using a very unusual quality of raw material. Every raw material that you find in the pyramid, every raw material that I speak to you are natural. Okay.
Amazing.
Except the aldehdic and ambroxan. But
Amazing.
we want to use the best raw material.
But Andrea, one question, because what I realized is, especially with Tambur, it lasts for a lifetime. I have this blotter on my living room, and it's quite big, and next day I smell this everywhere. So how strong is the oil? It's unbelievable how potent these fragrances are, but also very soft on the skin, but it's really high quality. You can smell it. So is it a lot of percentage of oil in them?
This Tambur 17.
Okay.
But okay, Nuvolari that is more rich 20, fundamental 15. But for me, is the kind of formula that you are to do concentration, not just the concentration. If you use a lot of materials, bright, transparent, are so different if you use 7 points of Indian sandalwood in the base of Tambur. Okay, 7 points are so unusual and so expensive, and we don't want to make a sandalwood perfume. Sandalwood help us to give the richness to the coffee, more velvet side and more smoothie side around the coffee, with myrrh, with coconuts, with tonka bean, okay, and with just a bit of hazelnut.
Yeah, there is nuttiness. No, I mean Tambur and Nuvolari, these are two fragrances that would definitely raise your eyebrows. I mean, my wife saw my expression when I pour, Tambur for the first time. She was like, she was sitting, far away from me, and she was like, "What did you smell?" She could smell it there, so it was really interesting. And my brother is also here today, and he doesn't know niche fragrances, and he smelled Nuvolari for the first time, and he said it smells like a warm. I'm sitting in a car with leather seats, and it's really warm. So that's how he said it. So it was leather, and it was really warm in a car, and it's the warmth from the asphalt. So that's exactly what he said, and I found it quite interesting because that's what you are trying to somehow also portray with this.
With the explanation before or without?
No, in general, I didn't explain him anything. He just saw this. He just saw the Nuvolari name, and he just said it smells like leather to me, leather seats in a warm car, which somehow goes in the opening, but it's really something beautiful. Let's take some questions, Andrea, before forward. Brooke asked, did you have any favorite perfumes from the Osmotique?
Yes. Only one. No. They are very. I love so much Guerlain, like Mitsuko. I fall in love with Bandi. Figuet, Fracas, not the first number 5. I love it so much. The collection of Paul Poiret that they presented 4 years ago in Parfum de Rosine. But
that's so gems, right?
And in Chanel, what's the first name of Egoist? I don't remember. Bois Noir, maybe. The first version of Egoist before come out in exclusive line. But if we talk about Serge Lutens, okay,
yeah, that's true.
Bois or Abirouche from Guerlain, or one of my favorite, the first version of Anteus of Chanel.
Amazing. No, I mean, 4 years ago when I was in Exas, or 2 years ago, sorry, I was only 4 months old in niche, and I was stupid enough to not know what Osmotique was. And next time. So hopefully next year, because I knew that they had smaller bottles and they had year written on them and the formula number. I could imagine it's heaven for perfume lovers, right?
For example, they are very special because with them you can do a small per course, a small okay, and so you can start from the classic Chypre to the modern Chypre to see how the market has changed, okay, or you maybe smell the most important perfumes with the iris root, okay. So discover the first formulation of the classic perfume that you can smell now, and hear different stories, beautiful stories, about the composition, about the story of the perfumes, and I love them so much.
Absolutely. So talking about Italian perfumery, also Luca Maffei is here. So hello to Luca.
Hello.
So Andrea, we talked about Guerlain and all the vintage stuff, but what if I asked you to name a current niche brand that you find exciting? Any Italian, French current brand that somehow you say, you know what, they are doing a great job, or they have fragrances that I find very interesting?
I respect so much Victor of Zoologist. Okay. I respect so much the guys of Mask. Okay. I love Bois d'Achèze is one of my favorite perfume because it transformed me to the mountain. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
When I was a child in the countryside, I smelled the smoky barbecue, and this smell remind me in the heart, and so with Bois d'Achèze I was falling in love in the same way of Tower L'Art du Désert Marocain.
True. Yeah, that's a classic, right?
Then I started with Frederic Malle, but I don't wear Frederic Malle perfume. No.
No. Or what do you wear? Do you wear your own creations or own brand, or are you wearing also Mask or Zoologist on a daily basis?
I wear not too much my perfumes because every time that I wear it, I see maybe we can just change something.
I can imagine.
It's like a painter that see a paint, and in the case of Cézanne, every vision of the mountain was different like the other before. But Nuvolari is a perfume that I thinking totally with myself in the brief, is my, I don't know, maybe my favorite. But
Yeah.
Tambur are used by my girlfriend, and I love.
Yeah, I think all the three have a special place and a special occasion.
Fundamental was so challenging for me because I spend a lot of time with the brand with only one perfume, and Fundamental is like a friend that you live with him, and you spend a lot of time with travel. Yes.
Yeah.
The great friend.
Yeah, but you know, we talked about the three fragrances, Andrea. If you had to name one fragrance that you would recommend someone who doesn't know the brand to start with, which fragrance would you recommend them to start with the first? I would say Nuvolari. Nuvolari is one first fragrance that someone should spray if you have a sample set of Rubini. Which one would you say?
Nuvolari is the latest one. For me, I'm very satisfied about it. Yes, so maybe I can recommend Nuvolari because you have the racer, the life of the racer, that kind of smell that you can imagine. It is very quick, it's very fast. Find you during the championship in the race car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. then I think that the best perfume is the next one. Every time that we compose, and this is the trouble, because after three kind of free perfumes, every time when I start another project, I was so there's a kind of difficult to know if the perfume are okay. In Nuvolari, when the perfume become to go outside my laboratory and with people that smell it, I can slowly understand that the perfume it was very great, okay, compared to the other perfumes of the brand. And every time we start a new project, I don't know if I'm wrong or I'm right.
Yeah, but Andrea, I was thinking about this because especially Tambur and Nuvolari are such artistic and, let's say, very niche fragrances. Did you ever have a fragrance which you liked very much in terms of the DNA, but you said world is not ready for it, or it's too challenging and we can't come up with it? So do you do a lot of experimenting with Cristiano on a regular basis?
Usually, when we start something, we close the project after different years, but between Fundamental and Tambur, we spent 1.5 years in a flower project. Okay, but probably there's not the right time to go outside. It's not the right time with the breathing. The breathing compared to now was too far from the brand. I mistake. This is my mistake. Maybe we at the time we got a great formula, but too classic, okay? Too traditional. Too traditional, not traditional. No, more mature, okay? Because it containing a lot of white flowers, rose. But for me, it was no good for the brand, so I decided to put them
aside.
and didn't work with the fragrance more. So we started to think about Tambur, okay, then Nuvolari, and now we are working on the third one, on the number 4. Yes, but we know when we start and we don't know when we finished it.
Okay, but it's just started because Nuvolari just launched, right? So it's still maybe in a year or two, it's going to come. All right, because just have to say that the jump from Fundamental to Tambur, it's huge. It's like Fundamental is baby steps, and Tambur is a racing. It's a fast car.
3 years between.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you smell Fundamental, we was very courageous because we used a huge quantity of lavender, and lavender 6 years ago was particularly raw material. When you say about lavender, people, no, lavender is about migrate, about the past, okay? And now the market has just change it a bit, and in the future you will smell a lot of lavender perfumes.
Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah. Understood.
you can see a different vision of lavender
Yeah.
inside. We used essential oil, we used absolute, we used lavandin because for Ifra there's a lot of complication with Ifra.
Absolutely. I can imagine. I mean, all right. One question from Julian. Do you think it's important or helpful to smell many different and new scents in order to create your own scents? So this is somehow, I mean, also to reformulate it, do you smell a lot of contemporary brands? You mentioned Mas Milano, Zoologist. I mean, Victor does the same kind of thing, right? If you would smell some of the fragrances, it always goes also in the avant-garde direction. So do you keep track on what's going on and you smell a lot of other brands, or you say, okay, you know what, I want to stay in the bubble and create something unique from there?
Both. So we smell everything, okay? But then when for example, when I was thinking to Nuvolari, just the idea of the race stop.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the challenging is, okay, no one talk about a Grand Prix, okay? So we can do the first of the other one. This is I love to challenge the market.
Right. That's definitely something that you do. I mean, there is a comment here which I find very fascinating. Anna says, I actually find a bit more challenging fundamental than Tambur, because I think from the comments I've heard, fundamental is a crowd favorite. That's what I heard from the friends and from my friends here, that they loved. Everyone loves. I mean, Seven Sense, Hungry, a beautiful perfumery. They said Fundamental is their bestseller, but I found Tambur much more challenging than Fundamental. Yeah. But that's fascinating.
Fundamental was launched in the fair, okay, and people after 6 years maybe can understand well the perfume. Fundamental are so modern, in the same time more contemporary if you compare it to the classic masculine new launches. Tambur was presented in the first edition in 99 pieces, okay, very small batch, and then 1 year after in the actually formulation, because when I met Frederick Mal, I gift him the Tambour first edition, and then during a special dinner with the retailers of Frederick Mal, like me and the other one, and after the dinner, he told me that the formula was not completely finished, so maybe, and that to adjustment of him, I put to Cristiano, and then we presented the new version, 2019. But after that, Tambur was not presented in a fair, so last person know Tambour Sacre. For me, PT was a very real success, because I presented all the line, and a lot of people doesn't know Tambour Sacre, so people love it so much Nuvolari, but also a lot of people love it so much Tambour Sacre in Firenze.
In Firenze, right? But I think it's just that's why, I was curious why not a lot of people know about the brand, and I think this is why I take a lot of pride in bringing people, brands like you on the channel, so that we can talk about so much passion and hard work that goes behind it. So that's really amazing.
I think the meaning is that maybe in some kind of niche you have an idea that you smell in the commercial or in the market that are more pushed, okay? But in Rubini, you have in front of you there's a new smell, okay? You have no that kind of smell in your olfactive memory. So,
That's
wow,
true.
I don't know where I am, okay? For a retailer, maybe is challenging, okay? You must sell the perfume.
Correct.
Maybe easier than harder, okay? So when I launched one brand with one perfume, for a lot of retailers, the situation presented was very challenging.
Correct.
I love it so much. No, not so famous, not so no, but a lot of people that love niche. But we
Yeah.
started with one by one, and so by other one.
Yeah. No, because I mean, I see a lot of names here, and I know most of them also personally that they are connoisseurs of niche. And I think if you haven't tried the three, um, I'm just glad that I got the chance to try three. And
Grazie,
I,
grazie.
just in coming days, weeks, just to explore more and more facets of these fragrances because they are so multifaceted. And all right, let's take two more questions before I let you go. I would love to speak with you all the time. So Eric says, Andrea, that where do you see Rubini Perfume in 10 years?
Wow, great question. I see one by one. I know in 10 times the brand grows too much. Not too much, sorry, grows more. Okay. I would like to be like a statement. Okay.
Okay.
Like a brand, you must to be, you must to know that brand. That kind of brand is a certain kind of creativity and quality for all the market. Okay,
Yeah.
my dream.
I think you said it in a very simple way that you want to make a statement. And I think if I had to summarize the fragrances, they are era defining, if so to say, or these fragrances definitely make a statement. This would be completely, for me at least. Yeah, I'm only doing this for 2 years, but to me, I did not have any olfactive memory of this. To me, it was seeing a new color for the first time, right? So a colorblind person sees red for the first time. That was the feeling I had while smelling a Tambur and Nuvolari, at least. So I think you said it very well that you want to make a statement. If it's with a lot of sales or not, I think this, from what I've smelled, definitely is something that you do making a statement. Really, congratulations for that.
Grazie, grazie.
Amazing. All right. So last question. What does Tambur mean? Uh,
Tambur.
yeah.
Tambur means in Italian we call it Mal d'Africa. When you stay a long of time in Africa, and then after you departed, Africa remains in your heart. Okay, and so we took the rituals of coffee in Ethiopia to describe a part of Africa, but I didn't want to give the name of kind of coffee or something near because I knew that everyone talks about a perfume coffee. No, I decided to describe the rituals of Africa with tribal rituals. Okay, with music. like Tambour Sacre.
Yes.
So
No, because I didn't even get coffee for a long time. I do get smoky notes, but it's unsweetened coffee, if it makes sense. To me, it would be wrong to say it's a coffee fragrance. And I think, yeah.
it's just speak about the yellow in a paint of Van Gogh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. So that's amazing. Andrea, please tell us, how can people explore the fragrances? Where can they find them?
Okay.
Mhm.
After the fair, we maybe we will go to different market. In the end of the month, I will go to the guys of 7 Cent in Budapest for a beautiful event. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we maybe we will go in a beautiful perfumery store in Paris near
Mhm.
soon.
Mhm.
But with the fair, for me, after 6 years, is a new beginning. So if you want to try Rubini perfumes, that on rubiniprofumi.com, you can buy discovery kit. And today I sent it to Singapore or
Nice.
Paris.
Nice.
One in Paris and one in Singapore. And 1 week ago in Chile
Wow.
for a new retailer. Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
But this one thing that I would love to also add to that, I have some connections in Germany, and I'm more than happy to introduce you to some here, because and this is something I say it openly to everyone who's watching. If you ever think, or if you are in a phase where you think niche perfumery is getting boring, I haven't tried something new for a while, I could definitely recommend trying Rubini. I think it will surprise you, it will excite you, it will make you experience something new. So yeah, I hope you liked it as much as I do. And thank you very much, Andrea, for coming. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Grazie.
That's it. Let's meet each other soon in Aix-en-Provence, and I keep fingers crossed for the brand and everyone who tried the fragrances. Please let me know the feedback, Andrea know the feedback on Instagram, and keep us posted how which your favorite was. And Nuvolari is the newest one from the brand, so make sure that you also try it. My favorite, hands down. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Grazie, un piacere.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.